Welcome to Enrichment Insights, your go to podcast for valuable discussions on mental and emotional well being, brought to you by the Human Capital, your trusted partner for various services that elevate businesses to new heights. I'm Nikita, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you. Today, we are honored to be joined by a true expert in the field of mental health and well being. Olya Rich. Olya is a licensed clinical professional counselor, healer, hypnotherapist, spiritual advisor, and life coach. As the owner of Mental Private Practice in Maryland, Olya is deeply committed to supporting individuals and families on their journey to healing and self discovery. We are privileged to have her expertise on the show today. Welcome, Olya.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Nikita. Thank you. I am so honored to be here, and we took a long time to plan this, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful to to be talking about such an important topic to all of us, and I think everyone should hear this presentation and really understand how important it is to recognize these important red flags that a lot of people experience in their relationship. So I am so grateful to be here discussing this topic with all of you.
Absolutely. I remember having this discussion with you on and off, and thank you for taking out your time today to make a lot of people aware and understand how a relationship should be. So, toxic relationship can take a toll on our mental and personal growth. Today, Olya is going to share her insights on how to recognize these toxic traits and these toxic dynamics and empower ourselves to navigate through them effectively. So, Olya, thank you for joining us. Could you please start by sharing why it is important for individuals to be able to spot these toxic relationships early on?
Oh, absolutely. This is such an important thing. The reason we have to spot these relationships early on is because we need to be able to prevent ourselves getting in a potentially dangerous situation, right? So noticing these red flags will actually help us to get on the right path, avoid getting in a toxic relationship. So it's really important to know these things and recognize them early on, um, in order to kind of clear that path for ourselves.
What would you say some of the common red flag that may indicate that a relationship is toxic?
Oh, yeah. So a toxic relationship can be best described as a relationship that is filled with constant drama, manipulation, fighting, cheating, disrespect, um, repeated boundary violations, and just lack of responsibility and accountability in general. So one thing that people don't realize that toxic relationships are very, very stressful and take a huge toll on our emotional and physical health. One thing that people dismiss, they want to stay in a relationship, they don't want to leave because there are a lot of fears could be involved with that. They feel constantly exhausted, drained, unhappy. They always question whether they should stay with their partner or leave. So these are the red flags that you are not happy and you need to do something about it. However, remember that every relationship is perfect. So
Mhm.
every relationship is teaching us an important lesson. So think of two pieces of a puzzle, right? One person is creating that dynamic and the other person is allowing that. And we have to recognize that even a toxic relationship in its nature has its value, and people learn a lot from that. Yeah, it's our job to recognize what's working and what's not working for us and learn how to set boundaries and learn how to say no to certain behaviors and kind of move on from that and evolve from that.
And how do you think these toxic relationships affect our well-being?
So the impact is massive. If we stay in a toxic relationship for a while, our self-esteem goes down, right? So we start feeling worthless and start feeling hopeless, right? Imagine that your emotional and physical body is in constant stress and state of anxiety. You're going to feel that stress. You're going to feel that internal conflict. If you're in a relationship where your partner, let's say, is cheating, you're going to have difficult time trusting other people, right? So that's going to lead you to the sense of hopelessness, and it will be really hard for you to trust that you can form meaningful relationships in the future. Another thing that people experience is isolation. If you're in a toxic relationship, then you will feel some kind of shame or embarrassment. You don't want to share about it because it's too uncomfortable. So people isolate themselves from others and avoid seeking support and help, professional help. Another big thing is lack of boundaries. If those boundaries are constantly violated and ignored, then you're going to have a really hard time standing up for yourself. Continue to set boundaries, right? You will feel powerless over the situation and you will feel like you have no control over your life. These are probably the biggest symptoms we see in clients that experience trauma coming out of toxic or abusive relationships.
And since we're talking about toxic relationships, it is also important to understand or know the different types of toxic relationships. Would you please share what are the different types of toxic relationships and how do we identify them?
We can look at the spectrum of things. So things can be light and not as heavy, right? So you can have a relationship where you're getting verbally or emotionally abused by your partner and it's not working, or it could be something like you are not able to forgive him for something that he's done in the past, and that has become a toxin in the relationship. Or it can be something really dangerous. Your partner is physically abusive, sexually abusive, financially abusive. It depends. I would go ahead and say that approximately 85% of relationships out there are toxic in nature. A lot of people try to pretend and mask everything and seem like, oh, I am in a perfect relationship, but there's a lot of chaos that's happening in people's lives. And a lot of times people don't share that, or they don't want to leave their partner because it's scary. They're not financially secure, or they have children and they would rather put up with that kind of toxicity than leave their relationship. It's scary. It's scary for them to be alone. It's scary for them to face that uncertainty. But I would say that it's a really high statistic, and so many people are unhappy with their current relationship. They just don't want to do anything about it. They would rather tolerate it than move on to something better and leave that relationship behind.
Now, you said 85. That's a lot of relationships.
It's a
That's a
lot of
lot.
relationships. If you look around, if you ask people, if you go deeper and talk to your friends, every relationship has some kind of toxin. So we're actually looking on the spectrum. Where are you on the spectrum? Do you have a relationship can be good, right? And still have issues that are not addressed, because not everyone is in therapy, not everyone is processing their feelings and emotions and working proactively on bettering their relationship. A lot of people just dismiss it and try to avoid it and pretend that it's not
Right.
happening, and they don't
And
want to do anything
also,
about it.
it's funny how relationship works. So when we are like we see couples and toxic relationships around us all the time, but we can identify when we see it with another couple. But when we ourselves are dealing with it, sometimes we just miss those signs or we turn a blind eye towards it because we're so emotionally attached or dependent on this person that we tend to ignore our own relationships, but it's easier for us to identify somebody else's.
Oh,
Isn't that true?
absolutely. It's so true. And another thing that people do entering relationships like that, it's almost like they set a challenge for themselves. Oh, I know
Yeah.
this person is this way, but I'm going to change them. By being in a relationship with them, they're going to change, they're going to get better, they're going to become a different person, but it never works out. Yeah, we can't change another person. And if you see something in the beginning that you don't like about that person, don't try to change them. Try to ask yourself, is it something that I'm willing to accept and live with? The likelihood of them changing is very, very small. So don't put your bet on that. Take care of yourself instead. That would be the best thing you can do for yourself.
Right. So the first step in dealing with toxic relationship is to be able to identify it
Absolutely.
and accept it.
Identify
So
and see if you can, if it's something that you want to deal with for the rest of your life without painting that perfect picture, or I'm going to change them and then the relationship is going to be okay. No, the person is presenting themselves the way they are. And if you don't like it, my biggest advice here is not to enroll yourself in this kind of program.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we have identified a toxic relationship. We have accepted a toxic relationship. So now moving on to the next step, which is therapy. How do you think therapy and counseling can help an individual in dealing with a toxic relationship?
With the right therapist, right, you can find a safe space. And that's the most important thing coming out of a toxic relationship. You want to have someone who is going to hear you, who's going to validate your feelings, who's going to give you that unbiased perspective. That's when you're going to feel supported. You need that support. And sure, you can get it from your friends and family, but that's not the same level of support. And therapy is just a really wonderful tool for recognizing unhealthy patterns in relationships and learning how to address those, right? So our job as therapists, my job is to empower clients, is to help them through their journey, help them with their self-esteem, self-worth, get them back on the path where they understand who they understand and learn how to set healthy boundaries and how to say no. Another thing is self-confidence. Usually people coming out of relationships like that, their self-confidence is low, and we help them to build it and help them to get back up on their feet. People relearning how to trust and how to trust themselves and how to trust their decisions when it comes to picking the right partner for themselves. Yeah, one of my favorite parts is to teach people how to speak up and to teach people how to advocate for themselves. And it's beautiful when people learn
You just
these.
uh, you just spoke about setting boundaries. So what would you suggest as some of the strategies to create these boundaries to protect oneself in a relationship or in a situation like that?
Like like coping tools.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So it's actually one of my favorite part of my work. I really enjoy using positive affirmations, guided imagery, and some really beautiful NLP techniques. We have a lot of tools that we can give our clients so they can learn how to enhance their self-esteem and self-worth. And these tools really work. It's just a matter of clients putting their attention and effort and time into it. It shows great results when people show up for themselves.
Now I'm going to ask you a very, very important question. These are all theoretical questions which needs to be implemented in the practical life in order to have a healthy living. And I remember us discussing us in the past as well. So now when we have identified a toxic relationships, we're trying to fix it, okay? We're trying to do things to fix a relationship. The only reason is because we're emotionally dependent on this person. In a worst case scenario, if nothing works out, what would you advise? Should a person leave or stay? And if a person has to leave, if leaving is the fine choice here, what would you suggest could be the possible ways or the correct way to cope with this emotional trauma, leaving behind somebody that we're so emotionally connected with? How should we, take steps towards it?
Yes, I love this question so much. And so many people realize that it's not good for me. I need to leave. And how do you leave? How do you go through that pain, right? It's a very painful process. Essentially, you're cutting cord from that person.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have some beautiful guided imagery techniques. I really love using cutting cords tools because they help us to heal our heart. Because essentially, what happens, our heart is broken. We separate from someone that we got attached to. Really focusing on being gentle and loving towards ourselves. It's a really painful process, but this too shall pass. Learning how to lean towards your feelings and emotions and understand that this is a process and it's going to take some time to heal. So really be kind, be gentle on yourself, do things that you enjoy doing, connect with friends, connect with people, really seek support, and really use this time to heal. Meditate on things that you do want to attract in next relationships. So it's really important to take this time and really nurture yourselves from within. But it's not easy. It's a process that takes time. So just be kind to yourself. That's my biggest advice. It's important that you're doing this, and in the process you can praise yourself, you can be grateful that you did it because it was the right step, because deep down you know you deserve something better. And that's what it all comes down to. Everyone deserves to have a great relationship. So when you notice things that are not working out for you and you're letting them go, it's just a process. It's going to feel rough. It's going to feel painful and traumatic, but just trust that it's going to be better. Trust that you are going to eventually attract someone who is loving and kind and not toxic.
Since you have dealt with so many people, you have healed so many people, can you share some of your personal experiences or case studies showcases the importance of identifying a toxic relationship and how it has, affected them, or how they have healed and how they're leading their life, and why discussing this today, what we're discussing, is so important?
Absolutely. Ooh, that's my favorite part. I work with so many people who go from one relationship to another, and these relationships are toxic, and we start reflecting, so what's going on? What is causing this? So usually it's a pattern that stems from their childhood. It's something that they're bringing from the parents, right? It's that love unreceived. With that, we have low self-esteem and self-worth. If you are operating on that wavelength, you're going to attract partners that are kind of giving it back to you, because this is what's happening. This is something that you've experienced your entire life, and that's the familiar relationship. So once we uncover that and go through the process, understand that everyone deserves to have a great relationship. Most people don't feel like they deserve one. So you have to get to a place where you not only recognize it, you claim it. Yes, I finally deserve to be in a good, loving relationship, and I'm not gonna settle for anything less than. I'm not gonna tolerate any toxicity in my future relationship. And that's a boundary, and that we have to do a lot of work to get there. Yeah. So first and foremost, you focus on yourself, and you make sure you are that person that you're about to date. You are kind, you're loving, you're respectful, you're honorable. You are not bringing any kind of toxicity in this relationship, because if you have some toxic traits and if you have some low self-esteem, you are going to most likely attract another toxic relationship into your life. And that's why I always tell people, focus on yourself first, heal yourself first, and you will see that you start attracting really wonderful people into your life. It's just how it works.
Absolutely. Now, I know that a lot of our viewers would like to know the answer to the next question that I'm about to ask. What are some of the traits of a healthy relationship?
Oh, what a beautiful question. Yes, you want to be the partner that you want to be in a relationship with, right? You want to be with someone who is honorable, who is respectful, who is giving you all the freedom in the world. And one thing to really pay attention to is, I'm going to ask this question: do you feel authentic? Do you feel like yourself in your relationship, or you feel like you constantly have to change yourself and be someone else in order to please your partner or avoid criticism and judgment? You have to be yourself. If you're yourself, if you're coming home to your partner and you feel relaxed, you feel like you are grateful for them and you appreciate them for who they are, you truly attracted a beautiful person into your life. Just know that there are people out there like that, and you deserve to be in a relationship like that.
Thank you, Olya. Yeah, I mean, we had quite a detailed conversation, and you've put in a lot of insights and your expert analysis to this particular topic. But before we let you go, I would also like to ask you this one last question: that what advice would you give to people in relationships?
Focus on yourself first. Make sure you are the partner you want to attract. Make sure you are that bright, loving, kind, amazing human. When you get there, you will be able to bring that energy from the outside. So focus on you first. We can't change anyone. Make sure you're happy in the relationship. Do whatever you need to do to stay happy and to stay free and fulfilled. And it's going to bring you a lot of joy. Always remember that you are the main ingredient of a relationship. Yeah, focus on you first. Put yourself first. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Olya. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you again. And like I say, every single time I speak with you, you are such a positive energy. Every time I speak with you, it just makes me really, really happy from within. So thank you once again. You're going to be enlightening, awakening, and imparting your knowledge and wisdom to so many people and passing on your energy through computer and phone screens. So thank you once again. And thank you to our viewers for giving us your time and watching us. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop in your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel. Olya is going to help you sail through your life journeys, situations, and feel free to reach out to her in the comment section. You can also go to our website. The link is in the description below. You can reach out to Olya via the website as well. And till then, goodbye. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye.